an amazing moment, honestly. It was a big journey, an amazing moment. As soon as I open some nice bottle of wine, I'm like a kid who receive a toy for Christmas. If you don't have a strong team, you can't walk by yourself. I love to open big bottle because it's the best things to express to someone. When you have the third star, you gain like a 30% of more guests. And it's really true. I mean, wine, it's really white. It's really complicated. I think I taste some of the most amazing wine in the world. If we don't have the champagne clean and sharp, good for the guests, this is one of the things that is not acceptable because,
Would it be possible at the end of the podcast to maybe make a tour if it's not a secret?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Hello guys, this is the Top iPad podcast, and today our guest is Luca Reynaud-Paligot. He is the head sommelier at Hélène Darrow at the Connaught, and he was listed in the top 100 sommeliers of the UK in 2023. So welcome, Luca. It's very nice to meet you. I'm glad that we can do this. We've been planning this podcast for a long time, and today is the day. So how are you? How have you been doing?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. It's nice. Like now we have a little break during the afternoon. So the lunch service was quite busy. So now I'm just in the cellar. So
perfect.
Facing the bottle is just perfect spot.
Oh, wow. The perfect location. So you are going to work after this again?
Yeah. We have the service of tonight, which is quite busy. It's good. It's good. It keeps you busy. At least we don't have time to rest too much.
That's very nice, and that's the point, to keep ourselves busy. That's very nice. Okay, I'm very curious. I think we should start with the beginning of your career. How did you get into the wine industry, into hospitality? But before we continue the discussion, we are happy to announce that we are partnering with Inventory, a tool that is transforming wine collection for enthusiasts like us. Picture this: you are eager to open that special bottle, but can't quite remember where you have stored it. Inventory ensures that never happens again. Designed by wine lovers for wine lovers, it simplifies and enriches how you manage your collection. In fact, let me show you how it works. Let's say I want to find my Chateau Corban 1996. You just open up Inventory on your iPad, and here it is, Chateau Corban 1996. You just tap on Locate, and it is going to localize it in your cellar. As you can see, here it is, my Chateau Corban 1996 in my cellar in the exact location. Need to check drinking windows or adding a new bottle with just a label scan? It's seamless. And when it comes to meal planning, their AI assistant offers pairing suggestions that make every dinner feel special. Whether you're a new collector or managing a sophisticated cellar, Inventory has a tier designed for your needs, from comprehensive free access to advanced management options. It gives you more time to enjoy the wines you love without the stress. So if you are looking to elevate your wine experience, check out Inventory. It's available on your iPhone, your iPad, and your desktop. Find it in the App Store or visit inventory.com. Now back to the video.
So it's really interesting because I haven't started hospitality actually at the beginning. It was mainly for like a kind of a summer job, summer holidays. I realistically starting economics and architect, designer, like mainly designing like look to have like the beautiful room, furniture and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm colorblind, so it will quite be complicated.
So
I can create my own color, my own nuances, but let's say that it will be realistically really complicated. So let's say hospitality always been surrounding me since the early days. I actually was really, really shy at the beginning, so I didn't work in the front of house. I was in the kitchen actually. So I started kitchen a lot, but I cannot really quickly understand that I'm a really good eater, but I'm not really good chef. So I move. We try to push me to be more on the front of house, so like a waiter at the beginning. I did a bit of the bar. I did a bit of hospitality, more like the hotel part. And let's say like slowly, I enjoy a bit the wine. I understood a bit more what is actually creating relationship with the guests, talks in general, like for anything, because wine, it's for me, it's one of the most socialized beverage, but also in general, because you speak with guests. I mean, here, for example, in a restaurant, but even if you go outside, people are really curious, and one, it sounds really easy because it's just a grape, but what is happening behind from vineyard is really complicated. So I moved very quickly on that stage of hospitality. In France, we have something that we call classe passerelle. So basically, in 1 year, you do 2 years. So I moved there. After getting my baccalaureate, I say I'm not sure I want to do more studying because my job is to get experience more than actually paper. So I found a chef that trusts me a lot, which is was the first chef of Paul Bocuse in Lyon, because I worked for those both chefs. So I worked for Paul Bocuse for about 6 months, and then after I worked for his first chef, which is called Pierre Orsi, for nearly 3 years, which is part of the Rolaiset Chateau. So it's quite a big group in France. And there was quite very the old school. So it's for me the best, one of the best area that I learned hospitality, the understanding of be constant, be clean on yourself, the way of talking with the people, understanding the background of people. So that was I was really young already. I'm still very young now. I didn't move too much the age, but it's a really early understanding of that job, which is amazing. And I've been fortunate because the chef, as he's part of the Rolaiset Chateau, told me, choose any place in the world that you want to go, especially in Europe, because we're talking about something nearly 10 years ago, that I'm 8 years and I'm in UK now. So he told me choose, and then I send you there. So in 2 weeks I was in England. Actually, I started in the countryside.
Wow.
Without speaking English at all. It was really really interesting. Let's say
I
like
can
this.
imagine. Yeah.
But it was cool. I was like 20 years old, coming in England in this restaurant, so it was like mainly driven by wine. So it was an amazing moment. Honestly, it was a big journey, an amazing moment. So yeah, I spent like something about 3 years there, 2 years and a half, and then a guest that Noëlan introduced me to his one as manager, and then I moved to Hélène here. So I arrived about 5 years ago here in Hélène d'Arros. I started as a sommelier, and a year and a half ago I moved as an assistant, and a couple of months ago I moved as a head sommelier now.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you. It's quite a big journey. I mean, the Connaught is it's a very strong wine list. Well renowned in the world. We are really fortunate, but it's a very good. We have the time to open some nice wine. We have a beautiful team. I've got 5 people with me, so the team is quite good. So it's nice to have like people now behind you, and then you inspire the next generation, or you push people and you inspire people. I think it's one of the great things to do now.
Amazing! Wow, that sounds like a real success story. I'm sure you worked a lot on this, but it was quite fast in terms of.
It was quite fast. Yeah, it was faster than expected, to be really honest. But it's good because as I said at the beginning, I was really really shy person, and still now for some of the reason. But I think one of the tools that I had, it's I love sharing my passion. It's true. It's a long hours. It's weeks. It's intense. But as soon as you share with passion, I think you kind of forget everything. There's no anymore. I'm tired or anything. It's kind of like motivate you and see. I'm personally driven by. As soon as I open some nice bottle of wine, I'm like a kid who receive a toy for Christmas. It's like just amazing. So, and see when I see the eyes of the guys, which they're opening bottle and they're like, wow, super nice. The wine is beautiful. So it's it's good because it keep yourself motivated. It keep the people also motivated. And the growing was really fast. I still learn a lot. I still have a lot of things to learn because I'm not even 30. I'm turning 28 very soon. So.
Oh, really? I'm turning 28 really soon as well. So we are the same age. Exactly. I'm turning 28 in November.
Me in the 1st of July. So a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah, it's a really good journey. I'm a really humble person, so it's really difficult for me to accept the job, even when because the head sommelier left, and we've been working together since I arrived, because he was here a year before me, and
Okay.
he was kind of my big brother. You know, it's I have a real big brother which is in Canada, but he was kind of my big brother because we were kind of arriving more or less in the same time. We were kind of always like have the same vision, same process, same
Okay.
anger, same thirstiness of opening bottles. So yeah, I learned a lot with him, and I had a really great people also behind me. And yeah, it was quite tough when he told me that he was leaving. It was like, you know, kind of a part of me also leaving with him, because you know we kind of
Yeah.
build ourselves and grow ourselves together the past 5 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's now that I'm my own, it's I'm always kind of texting him and say like, you know, what do you think about this? Should I go like this? So no, it's good. You know, now it's really good because you people are looking at you, or people they're coming to you to ask from, because we have 3 restaurants in the hotel, 3 bars, and the Sommelier of
Okay.
Helen they are quite like 16 actually the bars, or anything from the cellar, or where the bottle are located. So constantly helping people, which is it's nice, you know. It
Yeah.
change you, it change your personality. You create more empathy. You create a more like becoming a people person more than actually yourself, because now
Yeah.
it's if you don't have a strong team, you can't work by yourself. You know, you need to be successful on your own because task and skills. But if you don't have a really strong team, it's difficult to do everything. Especially here, we have standards. It's a 3 Michelin-Starred restaurant inside the hotel of the Connaught. So the level is high, even higher than what actually is on the market. So we really want to succeed all together. So that's why we have I mean Daniel also, which is the person, is a kind of person that I really relate with him, because is we have the same mentality, and he's a really great mentor that's still helping me all the time, because
Mm.
a lot of things that I'm behind, like you know, being better, for example, for the English or the writing, or you know, I'm foreigner, so I'm not
Of
born to
course.
speak English, so um, always trying to do my best. But you know, when someone is here since many years, know the right skills, it's good to have this person also behind and helping me every day. So that's good.
Exactly. A funny thought that came to my mind. Maybe for the customers, it is even better. They have more trust in you being a French person presenting the wines.
No, that's true. Actually, there's a lot of, because I work with many Italian people. Hospitality in London now, it's a lot of French, Italian. Um, but I work with many Italians, to be really honest. I think the team of Helen Darroze, between kitchen and front of house, I think we are something like 5-6 people out of 60. So
Oh,
yeah, it's quite interesting. So
yeah,
let's say that the conversation of French with French restaurants, and most of our customers, they are coming actually for wine which are mainly from France, like white Burgundy, red Burgundy,
yeah,
Bordeaux, Champagne.
yeah,
We also, I mean, of course, we have like some different part of the world or part of Europe, but there's many what here we are opening, which is good. I mean, we are really fortunate for that
yeah,
case.
yeah.
Me, I always say to the guys, I love to open big bottle because it's the best things to give, to express to someone. Um, Knowledge is part of our daily, and this is will be until the end of our life, because sommelier always need to learn vintages, new vineyard, new appellation. But
Yeah.
I truly believe that when you taste the wine, it could be anything from any price, and then you will expect to a guest, you will give a certain amount of love and passion, that if you have that sense, the person will go for it, because
Of
he
course.
will see from how you express yourself, how you maybe move your hands, have the special words, or the special view. That will be definitely and this is what I truly believe, that we do really great here, and then we continue this journey all together. So yeah.
I see. How did your responsibilities change when you became the head sommelier when your mentor left?
To be honest, I mean, since last September/August, I knew that the head sommelier was leaving. We had a sit together, and then he told me the bad news. I said, "No, it's impossible. You can't leave me." So we've been already close together because he arrived as a sommelier, as a commis, and then you move as a sommelier and an assistant. And when the open position of assistant was there, he applied, I applied, but he arrived a year before me. He had a little bit more maturity that I was still missing. So he kind of took the position. But we always been really, really close to each other, even for duties in general, because I'm a kind of really curious person on what is happening from the cellar, also what is happening in the wine list. So naturally, I came across about doing things on my early days here. Even as a sommelier, I was starting already to do the stock take for the Hélène d'Arros, then slowly stock take for the cellar, for the hotel. So slowly, I was quite more like the anger of knowing what is happening around me. So when I took the position, not much things become new for me because I kind of embraced them already like 6 months ago. But it was different because, when you do things together with him, that if I do something not good, he will show me, say, okay, you do like this. Now it's you who do it, and then you need to do for the first time perfectly. There won't be a second time. So yeah, it's a little bit different. It's interesting because Hélène d'Arros restaurant, we have the biggest operation of the hotel. So I'm taking care of the wine list, which we call the master wine list because it's a wine list everywhere in the hotel. It's made by Hélène d'Arros. So we have a special file with a special passport. There's only 2 persons who have those passports, and we access and we put actually all the updates of the wine list. So from new wines, prices, new vintages, remove references, updates in general. So it's quite big responsibility because it's to take care of the entire part of the hotel. It's a lot of duties. I actually also assist a bit what is happening at the bars. If we need to put like any updates on vintages, new wines, removings, like update the list in general. And after there is a head sommelier, which is taking care of the grill and Jean-Georges, which are the 2 other restaurants. So he take care of this by the glass selection. By me, I'm taking care of the wine list for the whole hotel. So after now, it changed like a bit. Now it's more about delegate people. So like my number 2, I kind of say to her, now have a look what is happening in the cellar. Be aware about if we have any things to move in the cellar. We're still in the old school because we have like a classic A4 paper where we're writing all the wines that we are selling for the entire hotel. So for all the recaps, for all the wine in the cellar. So we still do manually those operations, which is still old school, but the old school is always the best, trust me. Because you can always coming back on the paper, check if it's been written done properly or been made properly. So her and I, we taking care of those transfer for the entire hotel. So it's still like an extra 100 papers to do every month. So it's quite a lot, but it's a lot of fun. The days are very quick, so that's good for that. So
that's amazing. Can you explain a little bit about the logic on how to build a wine list? What are the points of views that you have to take into considerations?
So the wine list, let's say that Daniel Manetti, which is now the corporate wine buyer of Mayborn, let's say create this wine list about now 5-8 years ago. The one is that we have it here. It's unique with few things. First of all, we classify the new world by grapes, so from the lightest to the fullest. And then all around the wine list, we have collections. So collection means for us a deepness on vintages. So let's take the example of Krug, for example. Krug, which is a really beautiful champagne, maybe one of the most exclusive champagne. They have a different type of champagne that they're producing. The Grand Cuvée, which is the champagne that they are having some blending of vintages. And then we're going to have 5-6 different cuvées of this one. After you have the Krug vintage where we have about 5-6 vintages, and they have some small parcel which are Clos du Ménil, where we have also 5-6 vintages, Clos en Bonnet, 5-6 vintages, Rosé, 5-6 vintages. So basically, a collection means the same maison, but with everything that they're producing in the house with different vintages. If we take, for example, Burgundy, Romanée-Conti, which potentially one of the finest Pinot Noir in the world. In our wine list, we have all the Grand Cru that they're producing with maybe 10 vintages of each.
Wow.
So this is what is being creating here, because the hotel has that philosophy of bringing wine in a really different level. We are really fortunate that they have the shoulder and they have the vision of inspiring people for the wine list, because we have the customers for that, the request of this. So that's mainly the first guideline of the wine list. And secondly, all the wine lists, it's by Cellar. So Cellar means that we are sourcing the wine directly to the source, to the chateau or to the vineyard, and then shipping directly to the cellar of the hotel. So this is the best relationship that you can have between a vineyard and an hotel, because we know the provenance. When they do that, all the corks and the label are checked and then sent over to us. So anything that we're going to open from the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, they are perfectly clean. There is no doubt of a cork which is not on the right condition, or a bit too dry, or a bit too moldy. It's literally perfect because it's been recorked. They will usually put on the cork, recorked in 2018, 16, depends the time that it's been done, and then send it over to you. So that's perfect, because we had a certain type of guests which don't really want to be disappointed, because they're already trusting us to stay in the hotel or to spend a lot of money in a wine. So on that case, we don't want to go on a disrespect on the quality of the wine. So that's why this Cellar, it's the best quality that we can provide to them.
Wow, that's great. So there is no potential wines being corked or anything. So everything is
cork. We can always have cork. Unfortunately, this is always a question that will happen. But we don't buy wine in a broken list, which could happen that we don't know the provenance. We really believe that to have a right provenance is the best for the customer. So
yeah, I see. Well, that's very important and great. If I understood it correctly, the Hélène Darroze received the 3rd Michelin star while you were there in the recent years?
Yeah, exactly. So I started in Hélène Darroze when we had 2 star, and then right after the lockdown, just I think literally a month before to reopen, Michelin came out, and then we had the 3rd star. So we reopened the restaurant super strong for after the reopening, a year and a half of being busy, lunch and dinner, travelers coming from many countries. I remember lunch, I was curious. I was checking the provenance of each table, and we had like 15 different nationalities in the room. And now personally, like in my brain, I was like, wow, like what an honor, because you have people. I was speaking with people. They were like traveling from Switzerland. They took the flight on the morning, having a lunch with us, and leaving on the flight back on the night. It was like, oh, wow, they literally came for us for the experience. And as soon as you understand that we have the chance to have those kind of guests coming just for an experience or 3 Michelin star, is like a completely different category. And then we are very proud on that case, because it's a really great moment when you are this understanding of people which doing that for you. So it's amazing.
Yeah, clearly that's an amazing experience. So you say that you really felt a difference. This meant a lot. The 3rd Michelin star.
Yeah, the third, it's we heard a lot about when you have the 3rd star, you gain like a 30% of more guests, and it's really true. I mean, for the past year and a half after the 3rd star, we were doing maybe like more than 100 covers every day, because the demand was so high. The people, they were, first of all, after lockdown, everyone wanted to go to it. So that was also a very great welcoming of people who wanted to go to it. But on the top of that, we've been fortunate to have the 3rd star. And it's nice because in Hélène Darroze, we do a service which is a little bit different. Obviously, the kitchen, we saw the changement completely, the changes of the details, the sense of an experience. It become really like, wow, a 3-star, and we were all really impressed. But the service that we provide is always been very, very casual, very smooth. Hélène doesn't really like this kind of formal service. She really don't want to be, feeling the guests to be at home. She like when, you put the feet on the table and you relax and you feel. And this is, first of all, like also the hotel is like this. It's really homey hotel, really warm. But all the guys on the floor, because we are quite been here since quite a long time. On the restaurant part, most of the team is here since minimum 3, 4, 5 plus. Some of them 10 years. So then, we know each other very well. So it's kind of really easy to understand each other, or how to work each other, or how to communicate each other. So it makes the service really easy. Like, joke with the guests, I'm from Italy, but we have this French guy, this kind of like jokes, but it makes people really relaxing. It makes people really happy, and that's the service that we provide here. And I think, to be honest, I think it's one of the most important things that in 2024 we are facing now in hospitality. The people want to have more relaxed moments, more a conversation with you. Where you come from, what is your background like. They are really liking this kind of easy experience. Obviously,
more personal.
More personal, more simplest in the way that, of course, if we need to have a line, if we have formal service, we provide it, but we like more like this casual talks with the guests, really be interested in them. Where you coming? Are you traveling? The kind of normal question, but make it more personal.
Of course, and people love to talk about themselves, so
a lot.
It highlights their experience for sure. What is the process of increasing the Michelin level to the 3rd star? How does that work? This upgrade, and what would you say? What is the main difference between a 2-star, maybe a 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star Michelin restaurants?
To be honest, I think one of the top points, I think, is the kitchen. I think from a 1st star, the kitchen will be the main guideline of, I'm gonna give you a star. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think once I was reading this kind of point, they were saying like kitchen first for the 1st star. It's what is the most important. The service they're looking at, but they are not really judging the service much. I think the 2nd star is starting to be a kind of both of them. And then the 3rd star, it become more as an experience. Our guests are here with us usually from 3 to 4 hours, because we have the tasting menu of 5 and 7 courses. So it become more as an experience. So we really need to have a time with the guests to make an experience with them to make. And that's why we have a guest relation, which is in charge of the guest. She making the tour of the kitchen. Sometimes we make them visit the cellar, because we have some guests which are really interested on wine. So we try to make as a guest relation. Usually it's really rare to have that in the restaurants, but we try to make little surprises for our guests. We do sometimes some personal napkins, so some really small details, but that make the journey of the people. If they are coming, if they are traveling in London, we try to make a little sense or little joke of coming in London with a little card, or everyone will sign, some really small details, but again, something that we will personalize with love, and sometimes it's going to be more like a personal touch rather than actually making just a gift or just something which is already seen. We try to make something which we more like a family oriented, something a bit more done to her, something very details from that point. So I think that will be the more where we go to the 3rd star experience. Okay. The service is super important. The food is important, but combine both of them from a welcoming to when they're leaving. That's the global experience for me.
I see. I'm sure that means a lot. You mentioned visiting the cellar. Some guests can visit the Cellar. I'm sure that that's an amazing experience, and I would love to as well one day. How many bottles do you have in the Cellar? What is the Cellar?
So here at the moment we're facing something like 3,000 references, a bit less than 3,000 references, and something around 35,000 bottles.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Would it be possible at the end of the podcast to maybe make a tour if it's not a secret?
Yeah, of
If it
course,
is?
yeah. No,
Oh,
that's
wow,
fine. I can do. I will do it with the computer, and then we can do it. So yeah, that's.
All right, amazing. That's going to be fun. What is your approach for wine pairing wine with the dishes? Because there are.
Yeah, good question. Because we have actually a lot. We have 5 different pairings.
Okay.
Since I arrived, we like in the past 5 years we brought a lot of the pairing as a different level, because we used to have only 2 pairing at the time, classic and premium. And then the past 3-4 years we brought from 2 to 5, but with 5 different philosophy. One is called Tour Around the World, so it's literally traveling from different countries, different grape, different style of wine, and different expression. We have one which is called Great Classic Never Fade. It's mainly driven by Europe appellation, classic appellation, such like Sancerre, Burgundy, Bordeaux, Italy, some sweet wine, literally like a classic appellation and taste. We have the ultimate pairing, where we are taking a different dimension because it's only based by Grand Cru and top producers. So from a Montrachet to Romanée-Conti to Arlan Estate, which is the Lafite from Bordeaux, Chateau Yquem, some really iconic producer. So literally where we actually have people which are really more like a wine lover, really a different dimension of wine, that will be like the one to go. We have a champagne pairing where we do champagne from all the courses, from the first one to the last one. The last one we do a ratafia, but still based in Champagne. And then lately, since 2 years now, we implement our no-alcoholic cocktail and no-alcoholic wine pairing version, with not much cocktail, but it's mainly like juices, spices, infusion, kombucha. So all done by the sommeliers in a daily basis. And it's really high demand, actually, to be honest. We have a lot of people who still want to eat without much alcohol. So they will sometimes take the pairing, which is no alcoholic pairing, maybe a glass of champagne, a glass of wine, and that will be paired with a dish, because still it's paired with a dish. So you have the kind of understanding of why we choose this to go with the food. The pairing goes really well. So it's more like an experience from that sense. Yeah.
I see. So you have as many wines as the course, as many courses?
Exactly. So we have like something 17 white, 17 red by the glass, 10 champagne, 10 sweet, and 10 45. So we are quite easy to play actually with all those wines, even though that we have this structure of all this pairing, and we try to have this kind of sense of, if you take the tour around the world, the one that you're gonna have, the Great Classic Never Fade, will be on the same philosophy for the ultimate also. Let's take the example that tour around the world, you're gonna have a Viognier grape. From the Great Classic, you're gonna have a Condrieu, which is a Viognier grape. And then after, for the ultimate, you're gonna have an Hermitage Blanc. So they all have their own ID, but they are from a different category and different ID, and a different affordable and different fine wines from that philosophy. Yeah.
I see. So you can, this way you can match each wine for the courses.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about the wine lovers, the top wine pairing list. That must be an experience.
It's really an experience. We are seeing a lot of people lately coming for that, to be really honest. It's I mean, we do it since we start to actually do this pairing was like maybe three years ago, something like this. We had this pairing already in place as a kind of premium, but we wanted to bring as another category. And I remember one night was super busy service, and then the director of the restaurant, the previous head sommelier, which now is Daniel Manit, the group one buyer, and we were speaking, and we were saying, let's do like a supplement wine. If we bring Romanée-Conti, for example, one of the Grand Cru of Romanée-Conti, we put as a supplement. And, let's see if it works. And I remember that night it was super busy. We say, okay, let's do it. Let's make as a supplement. I remember we finished the bottle the whole night, but we was quite a high supplement, but still the people that are really, really willing to try some of these finest wines. And since there, we implement this pairing. Now we have Chevalier Le Fleuve 2009. We have Échezeaux Romanée-Conti 2006. The Chevalier is 2009. And we do Petrus also 2011. So that's the three supplements coming on the top of the pairing, but make the experience completely different dimension. We are fortunate because we have 3 bars and 3 restaurants. So all those fine wines, they are everywhere in the bars.
Yeah.
So it's easy. We don't have wet stage because as it's spread all around the hotel, the wine goes really quick. In 2 weeks, usually we finish the bottle of those fine wines. So it goes quite fast. We have quite few pairings per week. I would say 10 to 15 ultimate pairing, which costs £665, which is a lot of money. With these extra wines as a supplement goes up to £2,000. So it's a lot of money. Sometimes even a salary for some job in England, or even when I started in hospitality, I didn't have that money. But it's a lot of money. But people are really willing to try like some really rare wines that instead of having a bottle, you can taste it and you can have the joy and the experience of that. So it's really good. It's really, really good moments. And when we have the vision of the people, when we see that they're enjoying and they say, oh, wow, I never tried, but thank you very much because I can say that I try once in my life. So that's really cool.
Yeah, actually, if you really take this into account, it is expensive. But if you think about it, probably each of those bottles to just buy one bottle would be more expensive than this opportunity to taste like 6 or 7 of these special wines. So actually, it is worth it. And I can understand that people are coming for the wines, having such an impressive wine cellar. I can see that people are very drawn to for this opportunity.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, no, we are really lucky. Honestly, it's good to. Of course, we don't open only expensive wines. We have the list on the one list from £50 to £50,000. There's for every budget, but it's what it is. When you have the chance to have that type of customer, it's amazing. At least once a week, we have the chance to open really fine wine. So it's nice. We have the chat between the guys. The guys can taste. They can also have their thoughts and remember for the next time when you're gonna have a guest, you can ask for it. So that is part of the joy and part of the lucky that we have.
Being in such a position, being able to try all those wines is must be amazing and a great experience. Do you have in the cellar any interesting Hungarian wines? I'm just curious. I'm originally Hungarian. My nationality is Hungarian, so
we do actually. We have Chepsik, the Chepsik family, Ivan Chepsik, which is really close to the hotel, and we use the one we have 2 by the glass. We have the Fiume dry, and then we have the Giamaroni. That also we do by the glass and the sweet parts, which are really 2 delicious wine. We had few Asu, Six Potonios, Essentia. So we have quite few actually.
I'm surprised that you also have dry Furmins and
I know it. Very, very good. Because we use for the pairing, because it's basically they use 9 months of barrique, Hungarian barrique. So in a way, it tastes like the idea of a Burgundy. So that is really interesting for the pairing when you want to, pair with quite some light dishes. We do that on our pairing, and the people are really surprised. They say, oh, that's really good. What it's come from, and really interesting because it tastes like a Burgundy, but actually it's not. So it's really tricky, but make people really happy. That's the most important.
I'm glad to hear that. In most of the cases, the Hungarian list is quite limited to the Asus, but I'm really glad that you.
I know. It's that's really difficult for them. I mean, I know that we're drinking less sweet wines that we used to do in the past, even for Jurançon in southwest in France. So that's why, those countries, they are really suffering. So the fact that they are bringing the same grape but on the dry side, I think is a fantastic idea. And I remember last year I was in Bordeaux. I was lucky to go in Bordeaux for the Imprimeur with the Group One buyer, and we spent 4 days of visiting some of the beautiful chateaux, and then we had most of the time aperitif with Sauterne. And we had aperitif at the Chateau Yquem because we had lunch at Yquem, and we had the 2020 Chateau Yquem for the aperitif. And it was really dry, honestly. I mean, sweetness was still here, but you didn't really feel much. And that, I think I was like so impressed. It's like, wow, like it's delicious, a very delicious wine. And I know they do the Y, which is on the dry side, but that was the sweet wine Chateau Yquem, and honestly, just fantastic wine, very fantastic. The idea of dryness, Bordeaux moved a lot now on the dry part of the youngest Sauternes. They are much more drier than they used to be. So it's interesting for people to still producing Sauternes, but more a little bit on the dry part, so which is helping also the consuming.
Yeah. Do you know the sugar content? I'm curious. What does this mean? What is that? How much did they decrease?
From what is on the appellation, I think it's around 45 to 90 gram sugar. That's what is on the appellation. But the 2020, the Chateau Yquem that we had, I don't remember quite, to be really honest, but I know that it was super crisp and super light. So that's why
probably closer to the lower end.
I was quite even surprised, to be honest. So it was. We were all look at each other and we say, "Wow, it's really vibrant. It's really easy drinking." So that was quite interesting, actually.
Interesting approach, and you are totally right with these trends and with the Hungarian wines. That's one of my goals. What I'm trying to do to draw more attention on the other regions of the Hungarian wine region, because in the West, especially in the US, it's very limited, the knowledge about the Hungarian wines. As I told you, it's mostly about the Tokayasu, but we have so many amazing regions, the dry formants as well. On the southern part of the country, we have amazing red wine regions, Vrilla Sexard. So yeah. It's a lot more wide than people think. So that's one of my missions.
Sparkling also, very nice.
Yeah.
And some sparkling that were quite delicious, quite really easy drinking, really approachable, perfect. Like the summertime on the terrace, you have a nice glass, really refreshing. This is really pleasant, definitely pleasant.
Yeah, and the possibility is there, and all the Hungarian grape varieties, we have lots of things to play with, so lots of new things to show for the international market. I would like to ask you more about how did you study, and how did you educate yourself in the wine industry? As you mentioned, it's more about the experience, which I do agree with. But I'm sure that you had to, as you were evolving so fast, you had to learn a lot. Do you have any special resources or things that you have?
So as I mentioned, I like a lot the experiences. I did some of the classic learning and studying, like WCT, Cours of Master Sommelier. I do also a bit of the Wine Scholar Guild, which I did the French. I'm doing the Spanish. I done some of the, let's say, the basic in the way, like the Cours of Master Sommelier, WCT. It's something that is always changing, to be honest. The knowledge, especially now, a lot of things are changing, appellation, new things are coming. I'm trying to have a look most of the time. I like the Guilsum. I use a lot Guilsum, which for me, it's really good. I think it's one of the best websites in terms of keeping you updated of what is happening around the world in terms of the wine education. It helps a lot. So I'm trying to manage my time when I have time to also do things for myself, like a bit more studying part. But I've got the guys which are a lot more, I always say that they have more knowledge than me, definitely more. Because some of them, they prepare the diploma, some of them, they're going for advanced very soon. So I'm more organizing time for them to have time to study or to have time to taste. So we try to make sometimes at least once a week blind tasting. We do now, I put in place some presentation that we do once a week. Our wine is really wide, so that's why we try to put like a template basically on certain point of information that is important to know. And then each of us, and once a week, we do a little presentation. Don't need to be 15 pages, but like really efficient. Like the template that I put in place is like name of the producer, location, sub-region, name of the vineyard, history, special cru, monopole, cuvée, iconic vintages, special vintages, fun facts, like some really important points that we can all follow on the same template. We will do a presentation of all the producers that we have in the cellar. We start with the most famous one that we have, it potentially the one that we are the most opening, I would say. So the goal here is to have basically a presentation of each of the producers that we are facing, that I'm facing at the moment in the cellar, in the folder that everyone can access and anyone can use it. So it's I think it's super important because we have a lot of producers. I had a guest who asked me how many producers do I have. I said that's a really good question because no one asked me. I thought something like 1,000 producers roughly. So we have a lot of job to do. So we just started in June to put these things in place. So I want to see how it goes. If we obviously the week is busy, the days are busy because as we are not a restaurant inside the hotel, there's always something to do. Or do something in the cellar, or sometimes to help the bar for something, or the lunch are long. So we try to push to be at least once a week. If everyone sounds really happy and sounds really keen on, I would love to do 2, because at least we can move a bit quicker the presentation. So now I ask the one who become assistant, the one who took my job, to do the first presentation, to just start the ballet. So at least we're gonna see how it goes. So tomorrow we all sat together. Usually when we do tasting, we sat in a sommelier table. Yesterday we did a blind tasting, like 2 white, 2 red. But we try to make it very casual, as I was saying to the guys yesterday. I want to make because we've been really busy lately. Since the beginning of the year, it was really, really busy. A few things happened, so we're quite busy. So we now try to come back to put ourselves on the calendar. Put on the calendar everything. My calendar looks full, but there's nothing much to do. But at least I remember things. And I say, like, let's try to come back on this kind of blind tasting. And then if we are really keen, we can do once a week a more professional blind tasting with the grill of WCT and CMS if people are interested. And we do the timing. So the time for that you're going to have on the competition. I've got a couple of guys went for the young sommelier. They are more keen on competition than me personally, because I don't have much time and I want them to be more the sunshine, the new, because at some point they will need to take my job at some point. Hopefully not yet, but one day. It's important. I think most of the sommeliers that I have now, they're really keen on knowledge. They're really keen on competition. So that's why I want to push them as much as I can. I'm learning a different type of skills. More keen on learning, leadership skills, learning more like, Word, Excel skills, managing people, be able to speak in any time, in any things, in any subjects. So I'm more keen on knowing, for example, I don't know, watches, traveling, architect, and global knowledge in general, to have a conversation with guests, and create more this sense of relationship with guests, but also with the guys. And I'm trying to keep myself busy, reading a bit left and right, seeing left and right. My social media, for me, it's my best things to learn, because I post every single day. So every single day at 12 o'clock, I'll post something in Instagram, because I've got a lot of content of pictures. like what I'm currently posting every day is like a year ago, basically, because I've got an amount of pictures which is incredible. So that's why for me, this is the way I'm learning also, because I usually do a little presentation of the vineyard. I usually put a little fun fact or first vintage, tasting notes of the wine. So this is kind of way of learning without being too much boring way of learning, basically, if that makes sense.
Of course, it makes completely. It's a very, very diversified job. You have to know lots of things. That's great.
A lot, but I don't really see as a sommelier knowing everything, every single first vintage, every single first sub-region. That's not me personally. I know friends which are at sommelier, and they are very keen on competition, very keen on knowledge. This is not my vision. My vision is for what I've been told and for what I learned from Daniel. Is an amazing person because he develops skills with people. He develops skills with different things rather than knowledge, because he told me, he always tell me that more you're gonna grow, less we're gonna ask you knowledge or how you taste Chardonnay and the blind tasting, but we're gonna ask you how to manage people, how to be fair with people, how to balance the hours, how to be a really good manage on the cellar, which one we need to bring in, which one we need to move, etc., etc. That's more the skills that I'm actually keen on today, rather than actually the skills that it's more like the theory and the learning part of wine.
Of course, that makes sense, because at some point that all the theory and the facts, it is like you cannot learn all the information, every single vintage. But I think, as you mentioned, it is very important, the personality, the way that you talk to the customers and you lead the team. You emphasize that. I think that is how you can just grow and develop. Because on the theoretic part, at some point, if there are some important facts that somebody is interested about, you can always check. But having the personality and the style and the complete package of being a great sommelier is different. What would be your advice for someone who is looking to have a career as a sommelier, as a beginner?
So it's a job of passions. For me, it's a job that you really need to embrace 100% of yourself. I know I say that I felt really old when I say that, but it's when I started, I felt like the relationship that you were having with a guest. So sometimes when you know the wine that you will taste like this, and the guest will tell you after, "Oh wow, it's beautiful. Thank you very much." That's like the thanks to the guest, the thanks to that's what I learned, that's what I taste, that's what I remember. For me, sommelier is not a complicated job because it's a curious job. I describe more as an Epicurean. You need to like everything. So start from eating or smelling everything, because what you will find on the wine, it will be most of the time something that you already taste or smell. Of course, keeping you updated with the knowledge, that is a kind of daily thing that you can do. Could start from reading a book, global knowledge about wine, what is the train, what is not the train. Of course, the base, it's what is the most important, because it's making your confidence, it's making you building yourself also. So of course, at the beginning, you need to open the books. I remember that I was writing a lot, taking notes a lot. For me, this how I remember that during example, like during lockdown, I was passing the course of Master Sommelier, so I had a lot of time. So I did in the computer, in the world, basically all the countries in the world with the same template per appellation. So name of the appellation, name of the first AOC, number of the hectare, most of the well-known producer, kind of style, location, literally the same templates, but maps, explanation. It took me a lot of time. I had also a lot of time, but this is a really important to start with the structure. Sometimes I know we don't know where to start because wine, it's really wide, it's really complicated. But it depends the restaurant I'm gonna work. I would say, for example, if I take the example of here, it's a French restaurant. I would say it's better to start from French regions. So you start from maybe not the biggest one because you will be scared, but something that you personally like. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Loire Valley, for example.
Okay.
You can start from Loire. You can start a bit. You break down the Loire in 4 different party, and then party per party, you try to have a look what you have, what is known on that region, which grape, which type of soil, which influences, which climate, which type of topography. So smaller and smaller and smaller, and then after you will actually create that presentation
Yep.
in your computer or in your writing, if you prefer to do on your paper. But smaller and smaller will start to help you actually to understand. I take sometimes a bit of flashcard, so I do a bit of
Yep.
question like first vintage of this, first vintage of top cuvée, and this is also helping you to remember that kind of important points that you can find or that you will face sometimes with the guests. Sometimes what is very good also here, it's I taste the first vintage of some of the producers, so I'm able to remember that.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I know Claude Duménil, for example, from Krug is 1979. I tasted 3 times. Clos Bonnet from Krug is 95, which is a Pinot Noir. So the same, because I already taste them, I remember them. It's like kind of those fact that by ear is a kind of a log that we don't have maybe everywhere in the world. But I would say starting from breaking down an appellation, an area of where you want to learn per party, and then those party developing a little bit more. It's really important to know an appellation, of course, when it's been created, the number of hectare, because we can ask you for some exam that's sometimes happening. The type of soil, which is super important, the type of climate, the topography, if it's plain, middle slope, high slope, plateau, also the top producers, which is also very important because it's nice to know the appellation, but also really nice to know who is having there, because they will be. I remember I was facing the exam that I done. It was a competition. I had this question about propose me an aperitif that is not wine at all. So, most of the competition of sommelier is easy. You say champagne to start. That's the kind of easy question. And I said, that's fine. I love martini personally. Perfect gin martini to start, very dry with a twist. This is the kind of things also bringing your personal touch, what I like, which is also is going to help you to know also the wine. So, yeah, I think it's also interesting to understand where you start from. And after, slowly and slowly, you can't learn, you can't know everything. Unfortunately, I think it's nice also to maybe to don't know everything, because it's important also to know what is happening around you. It's important to know your wine list. It's important to know your base, but slowly talking with guests, opening books, tasting wines, it's also where you develop your knowledge and different sense of enjoyment also.
I see. That's a very great advice, to come up with a structure, because the wine industry is very, very complicated, very wide, and there is no correct structure, because each country has their own appellation system. There are differences, so there is no correct way to go about it. Just as you mentioned, come up with a structure, just choose the region and start.
I think the most important is to do it slowly. It's to don't for example, now I finished the French wine scholar guild. I remember that the book was really interesting. It was like less than 300 pages. It was really well structured because each region they were divided, so they were really well explained. Like you're gonna have champagne. Okay, champagne. What is the history of champagne? And after, how we make champagne? What's the type of history you find? And after, each sub-region, they were also divided on which are the main grape, which grape that you can find. And basically, you start from an history part and then you increase a little bit more. It's the best to start the title. Okay, Burgundy. Okay, Burgundy. What are the sub-regions? Okay, on those sub-region, what can I find it? Then where I can find more white than red, where I can find the Grand Cru. And then after, boom, etc., etc., etc. And you will arrive with. I remember, like when I was doing during lockdown, some of the region I developed them. I did 25 pages. I
Wow.
spent like days and days and days, but it took me a time. But now, okay, now I need to go back some time because I need to update new appellation, new things coming. I have this base basically, which is now in the system. And if I need, I remember a girl was had a sommelier who she was studying Eastern of Europe, which is
Okay.
really complicated because
Yeah.
how to pronounce, how to take the grape. So I say, okay, it's fine. I've got the file. I'm gonna print it to you. It was like 50 pages, something like this.
Wow.
But all the appellation, I wrote it down with favorite grape, grape that you can add, majority of the percentage of the first grapes, etc. So you have this base, and slowly you develop this base. So that's why, like this presentation, I wish to maybe we can talk about this in a year ago and say I've got 150 producer on my storage, and now all the guys are able to speak about 150 producer. That would be just amazing,
Yeah, that is a great approach and a great way to build the knowledge base, and you can always go back and check out those things. And I think it helps you to tell those stories, because when you create these notes, you're already thinking about explaining them, like teaching all these things. I think, and I also experienced this while studying, that for some reason you remember it better because you have a story behind it, and you know how to explain it. This way it's a lot easier and a lot better to use this process. Working at a 3 Michelin-star restaurant, I'm sure that you have lots of interesting guests. Do you have any memorable stories, some special guests or interesting experiences that you would like to share?
I've got a couple ones. I've got one. I remember. I think I've got like, well, actually, I've got a lot. But I think
I'm sure about that.
maybe one of the two, one that's kind of impressed me a lot was like, I think was close to when I arrived, so a really long time ago now. I had this family who came from Texas.
Okay.
It was the mom, the son, and the girlfriend was here celebrating the birthday of the son. They buy out the chef table for only three of them, with the kitchen facing, which is just studying area. And I remember we were selecting the champagne, talking about what we're gonna taste, what we're gonna start. And I remember we start with one of very, very old P2, Dom Pérignon Plénitude
Oh
2,
wow.
which was, I think, back to the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Was
Oh
quite a long
wow.
time ago now. And after continuing experience, we had like an iconic producer from Bordeaux, which is Chateau Lafite 89, because it was
Wow.
the date of birth of the sound. And then we had something from the 70s or the 60s, Chateau Yquem, to
Wow.
finish. We finished the experience. The chef was here, so he went to talk with them. And very cool people, but like super talkative, super easy. So they say, "Oh no, chef, take a seat with us." And they asked me, "Oh, do a little glass of the sweet wine for the chef." We were talking to each other, a very cool atmosphere. And it's really interesting when you see that some of the people have a lot of money, but they are very down to earth and they are really
Yep.
easy to talk. I had these guests who came 2 times. They arrived. They had lunch with us in a sommelier table. There were 5 people, the couple plus a couple of plus another couple, which were the friend, plus the mom. And they start really delicious champagne to start. And talking after with the guys, say, where we go, what we start. And that day, I think I taste some of the most amazing wine in the world. We had Aspirations from Dagenot, which is a super rare Sauvignon Blanc, maybe one of the most rare ones. We had some Cellar from Le Fleuve, which have been reworked. We had Bioli Sandy from Tuscany from the 64. We had Vega Sicilia Unico 42. We had Romanée Saint-Vivant 2000. We had also 59 Chateau Yquem. We had like an amazing, of course, we are talking some iconic wines. For me, this is what actually I truly believe, because some of those most iconic wines, they will be disappearing at some point.
Yeah.
So I see mainly my vision here at the hotel to be lucky enough to try all those wines, because I don't have the money to buy them when I'm off or in holiday. So I truly enjoyed when I had the chance to taste those wines here. And that's for me as a part of the experience and as a part of talking with the guests, which make that also sometimes happening. That was like some of the greatest moments. We had one guy one day, a couple, they said to one of the sommeliers that worked with me, they say, we want you to recommend a wine. We don't have budget. You choose the best bottle that you have in a wine list.
Wow.
And it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We can cross like, what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go. What was really complicated, very difficult choice to make, because we are lucky to have some of very interesting wines. And then after we came out with a Carton Charlemagne from Coche Dury, which is very rare, very, very rare, small, limited quantity. And those kind of things that we had. We had like one guest that came the same. We had this guest was at the bar, because we had the Yamazaki 55, which is one of the rarest whiskey in the world. This guest bought 2 shots. He drank one. He split the second shot in 2, gave to the bar. So a very generous guest. He came to us. We did 82 Mouton, and we did 59 Aubryon.
Wow.
He had half of the bottle, and he left the rest for us. We had one day in a sommelier table, a guest which are staying in the hotel. He called us. He asked, by any chance, do you have the sommelier table available? I say, yeah, tonight is not taken. If you want, we have that package. Is it okay for you? Yeah, I say, yeah, no problem. But I'm coming in 15 minutes. So we had 15 minutes to organize the room.
Wow.
And I remember he spoke with us. He spoke with one of our previous deputy manager, and he said to him, it's a special occasion. It's the birthday of my wife. I want you to organize kind of an explanation on from when we arrive to when we're going to leave. A kind of book, if you like,
Okay.
Pictures, descriptions, unbelievable. It's one of the most challenging moments that we had. Lucky enough, he was starting to drink in 82. So we did a lineup of only 82. So 82 Krug, 82 Palmer. And then we had also 45 Chateau Yquem that he had a crazy idea to do 1 glass for the pastry, to do a dessert for that. 2 glasses for them, and the rest of the bottle for us.
Wow.
But I think I can continue like this for all day. We had like some amazing moments, and I'm really lucky, and the guys which are here now since a bit of time, they understood and they know that here what is happening at the hotel, the lucky that we have with the guests, it's unique. It's really unique.
Of course.
As I said, I'm quite present in the social media, and few people from Asia or Hong Kong, sometimes they kind of text me and ask me some of the wine that I taste and everything. And we start to talk and say like, it's really crazy. We heard about you, about the hotel, about what is the wine list of the hotel, even in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in France, in many countries, because what is here, it's unique, and then everything that I post, as I said, is what I taste. So it's not a bottle that I found and I did a crop and that's it. Now it's literally what I open here and what I taste here, which is even crazier. So yeah.
That's crazy. And as you mentioned, these are so limited. It's like part of the history. I'm sure that for all those bottles and vintages that you listed, I'm sure that from a lot of those, there are just a few bottles laying around the world, and tasting those That's a huge privilege, but as you said, and the way that you share it, and on social media, I think you are doing it the proper way, and studying and saving all those memories. That's pretty crazy. What would you say? We talked a lot about the beautiful segments and the beautiful experiences of being a sommelier. What would you say is the most challenging part of it?
If I see like the case of where I work, it's the intensity of the service and the pressure. I'm not gonna lie, when you work in a 3 Michelin restaurant, you can't really do tangible things. It's if a champagne is flat, it's flat. So I'm really keen on that with the guys. I'm telling them before the service, when we have someone which is doing the opening on the morning, he had to refill the fridges, but also to taste the champagne to be ready at noon when we open the door. This is one of the things that I don't have any patience. Like if we don't have the champagne clean and sharp, good for the guests, this is one of the things that is not acceptable because you have some people which are paying a lot of money for coming to eat, coming an experience, and if the one is not perfectly showing well, it's not good. That's one of the things that I'm facing, and then on a daily basis, it's important to be on the top of that. Intensity I mentioned because when you have a lot of pairings, the guys which have the station, because we have two stations, one on the front, one in the back, and most of the time on the middle to assist both guys on the side and collect the bottle in the cellar if needed. It's really important to tell them that I'm here for supporting them, but they're also here to be in the action of understanding the pairings. So if you start to have a lot of pairings, you need to understand where to spread your time, where you need to stay more, where you need to stay less, where you need to be efficient. I remember when I was a bit late sometimes for some of the pairings, I was just pouring the wine and say, I do a blind tasting. I come back after I really explain you the wine. It was a kind of way of being cheeky because you are kind of in the rush of doing the pairing. But the fact that you tell them, I'll leave you, I'm making you a little blind tasting, which is a fact that is going to control your pairing and also make your guests a bit more curious. And after you come back, you have a bit of time, you speak with them. So it's really important to understand where you spread more your time. Intensity, this is true, that is very important. The cellar, also knowing where the cellar it is, what is in the cellar, because when you are beginners, when you join us, when you look the cellar, it's good. It's really tidy. Nothing is in the wrong place. What is in Burgundy is in Burgundy. What is in Bordeaux is in Bordeaux. Nothing is left and right. But still, you have 35,000 bottles. You have a lot of wines where you need to know where they are.
Of course.
So this is one of the things that also is really important to understand when you join us. In intensity, because you need to understand also how we work here in Hélène d'Arros, but also how to work also with the chef de rang, the maître d'hôtel, the people who in the floor part, because it's a relationship. You were gonna tell them this is a pairing on this table. Okay, the champagne is not finished. Can we wait a couple of minutes? I'm gonna do this pairing on that meantime. It's you need really to talk. And I'm saying to the guys all the time, talk with them, because more you talk with them, more they will also be here to assist you. If one day you need top up the water or clean the glasses, because I don't know, we are over made enough pairings, they will be here to assist you. So more you talk with the people, more busy service. Thank you very much for tonight. Thank you for your help. It's really simple to thank someone. And this is also what is important nowadays. There is no ego, because you can't do everything by yourself. There is a team behind, you help the team. I'm always thanking the team once a week when we finish the Saturday night, when I go home. We enjoy the Sunday, Monday weekend. On Sunday night, very late. On Saturday night, very late, and Sunday early morning. I usually thanks them and said, thank you very much for this week. It's been intense, been hard. Thank you very much for the hard work. And it's very simple. It makes people smile. It makes people happy. When they come back on Tuesday, they're happy to be back. So things that is important for me, and then also to be here to help the people. When you see someone which is struggling for the service, because a lot of pairings, you are here. You touch the shoulder and say, I'm here. What can I do for you? Even that you had a head sommelier. I do more glasses now than when I was sommelier, for example. I clean the station and clean the dirty glasses on the table. I top up the water for the guys. that at least they are in the position of, I felt the structure, I felt someone behind. I can be sure that I do the pairing here and it's clean. It's really important to be the person like on the shadow, because the head sommelier shouldn't be on the top, but he's always on the shadow of the team, but also here to assist them.
I see. That's very good, and that must strengthen the team's work, like their mentality, being so humble and present in all these ways. Can you get used to this intensity, the stress? Do you still, when you have a very important guest, do you feel stressed? Do you have anxiety? Or after years you get...
I don't know. There's, we have like new beginners in our team, so it's always a bit more stressful for me when I have a busy service, when I have beginners, for the reason that the intensity, as I mentioned, it's quite hard, to be honest. When you feel after the service tired and empty, because it was, when we have 8 tables per station, so 1 on the front, 8 at the back, so 16 tables. When you have out of those 16 tables, usually 10 to 12 on pairings, you feel the running. It's like literally we don't run, we walk fast. It's a ballet, so it's a very a dance, but you feel it. It's
I can imagine.
So that's why the support that the person which is on the middle, that is the greatest and the hardest support, because you need to provide the wine for them, you need to provide the glasses for them, because they don't need to move too much from the station, and be always with the guest, talk with the guest, spend time with the guest. If there is sometimes a little bit of delay, they're able to, even the restaurant, speak with them, where you come from, what you're doing, are you traveling, are you visiting any other plan of restaurant. It's a kind of a gesture, normal conversation that you're gonna make the guests happy, make yourself keep busy, and also make the service more smooth, and make the balance of it. So of course. So after the years now, I feel more confident on what I do and the action on that. As I say, I took to position in a really quickly, so I still need to have a balance from that. I'm not a person which like to, shout in a way in general, because I'm a really old school. I prefer to make the action myself and tell to the person after. Because I did that in the past, I do the action and after I show you how we do. But I will be pointing people if we don't do it after once, twice, 3 times, and I'm repeating you all the time. It's really important to be close to them. By meantime, it's really important to be fair to them. It's like, I want you to be there. I want you to reach that level. I want you to sell that wine. I want you to push for that, because I know you can. And this is, I think, is becoming more like a coaching, like a daily coaching, not as a team, but like as a person. I know some of the strength for certain person. I know the weakness for a certain person. So it's important to have in your team a different character, a different vision to make the global. If I have people all like me, it won't be possible. It won't be possible, because we need to have a different character. We need to have a different ambiance, a different type of person. Me, I'm a person who always like to, shy. I always like to smile. I always like to talk. It's really important to be present. It's really important to have that strength of talking, be humble to be there around, helping the people. So this is really important. And you need to have also people which are understanding that. You need to have the people which are very good in operation. When we plan things, it's another person I can ask, okay, organize this, that, and that. I need you to be done in half an hour. That's it. Then another the people I can ask, I need to prepare for this evening. You have this big table, start to think about which kind of wine are we going to go for. And or some of the operation, I need you to be on the front tonight, because it's really busy. I know you are really good. I know we're going to succeed all together. You need that kind of profile in your team to be really good on that.
Yeah, it really sounds like a whole dance, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
It is. It is
it's a big dance.
very.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Tasting all these amazing wines, having this opportunity, what would you say was the best, most memorable wine experience, or some of them? I'm sure that it's hard to choose one, but maybe some of them.
I always describe, because many guests ask me this question. I always describe my favorite with the most memorable one. So the one which make me more emotional than the others. I would say the 1942 Vega Sicilia Unico, for the reason that it was the time of the war in the 40s in Spain, and they make a wine which was just beautiful. No sediment. The wine was clean. Everything was perfect. Just a piece of art. I had few times the 79 Claude Menil first vintage of Krug, which we are talking about only on 6,629 bottles. So we are talking about limited quantity of production. That may be one of the piece of history that I had lucky to taste here. What else? I had a guest who loved Chateau Latour 82. So we did a dinner of Chateau Latour 82 a couple of years ago. They drank maybe 6-7 bottles of that only on the night.
Wow.
Because we have a stock of 12 bottles, so we have quite a lot. Maybe more like these really iconic producers. In France, when I was working in Lyon, I remember that we had on Saturday late tables, 9:30, beautiful couple, suit, really nice dress. We were quite scared that it was Michelin at the time, because Michelin was coming at that time. So we were really scared. We said the people, welcoming them, glass of champagne, aperitif, and I think they asked for the wine list right away. We were talking with them and everything. At the end of the order, they went for a Montrachet from Romanée County, 1990, which may be one of the finest Chardonnay in the world. And on the top of that, they asked me, myself and the head sommelier, to come at the table and to pour a glass for us and to cheers with them.
That's crazy.
And this, I'm talking about 12, 13 years ago.
Wow.
So literally the early days of my journey. So it's a thing that will stick here in my head. I don't know. It's too many wines that I taste which are incredible here, and really, really fortunate. It helps a lot. I tell you, it helps a lot for, we're talking about knowledge, but this for me helps a lot, because this is showing you more the confidence that you're able to speak with a guest rather than actually speaking from a book part,
Of course.
It's really, really, really important, especially like where we have guests here. Some of them, they are really low profile, like really looks really simple person in a way, not flamboyant, not flashy, but really low profile. And sometimes we have some low profile guests who they knows a lot. We had guests sometimes they have like diploma already, because they love wine, they have time, they do that, A friend of mine that we follow each other on Instagram is a doctor in New York, in New York or in US. He's doing he's a diploma level 4. So it's just like a passion. So there's a lot of people which are really low profile in our industry. As a guest, we have multi businesses which just love wine and it's not to do with this wine. It's, let's make this as a pleasure. So we have it's really interesting. And sometimes when I scroll a bit what I post the past years, because sometimes I want to read a bit what some vineyards or some vintages. I say, wow, taste that, wow. It's nice to remember, it's like, wow.
Yeah, I'm sure that helps to remember all those things.
Yeah, a lot.
And having these like professional guests must keep you on your toes to like really be ready, because I'm sure that's quite stressful when you have a guest that knows a lot. And
definitely. It's what the question you were saying also about what is your feeling. That is for me one of the hardest things also, because when you realize that on the front of you are someone which have way more knowledge than you, it's really important to be really precise on where you select, what you select for him, what you propose for him, which vintage he can propose. Why not this one, but why not this better one? It's really, really interesting to go from that conversation to another conversation very quickly.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are your future aspirations and plans that you would like to share with the viewers?
I mean, to be honest, as I say, I'm still really young, so I still a lot of to learn already here in Rose, or to be as some colleagues call me boss, which I don't like. But yeah, still a lot of things to learn. I'm very young, so I still a lot of things. I don't know if I want to visit a different country. I know Melbourne is opening hotels in the next 10 years. They are planning to open at least 5-10 hotels. So there's they want to expand themselves a lot from all the continents. So it's why not traveling? At the moment, I really feel home here at the Connaught, to be honest with you. I've been questioning myself quite a lot of time to know, because 5 years in the company, at some point you say you feel comfortable, so it's a bit, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's dangerous. I feel really home. I really feel confident here. I really feel I like it a lot here. So let's see what is gonna happen in the future. As I say, I still have a lot of commitment to give, but still a lot of things that we do, that we can do as soon as we have a team which has a fully ready and fully operational. Put more like a learning program, more tasting program. There's plenty of things that I'm lucky that Daniel is quite pushing me also from that. I'm bringing the wine list in a different category, for example. Maybe changing the format, changing the writing, many things that we can do. Even in Rose we do few cocktails, for example, because there's some cocktail that I love, like Negroni. I'm a big fan of Negroni, so we do this little signature with the Armagnac from Rose. So we do also a few cocktails that I ask the guys to do it. So it's good for them also to put their little print. So I would like to bring a little bit more cocktail wise, a bit more this kind of be a bit more autonomous as a restaurant. And it's also good because you continue challenging yourself, continue challenging your guys. You always get report from them, what you think. They give you the taste. What do you think is good? What do you think? Can I get your advice? Shall we do a list of special garnish? Or there's always many things on my list. My list is never ending. I'm always trying to put like new points that I want to do, new things that I would like to bring. At the moment, it's really important to be close to the team because as I say, we are facing new beginners. So it's important to be here as the face, as the structure, as the support. As soon as the base will be very solid and very structured, I will be able to start to cross those points and to be able to be a bit more deep on those points. Say, okay, and this can I put my time on the 6 months project, on this 6-month project. We have a big project of the Sommelier table to do it bigger, to do our wine dinner here in the Sommelier table. So it's a project that it takes time because it's important role. There's the wine, so there's a lot of things to manage and to have a look. So yeah, there's many things. So far, I'm gonna stay here at the hotel, so there's no doubt for that. But yeah, I want to be close with the one Daniel, which is the person which is a good mentor for me. I still want to be closer to understand more and more on his knowledge, on the thing that he can teach me and then show me more. But everything takes time. That's one thing that I learned in hospitality. And I know when I started, I was a really a passion. I wanted to have everything right now. I wanted to have everything, but as soon as we start to ask you, have you done this? Have you done that? This and that? No. And now it's what I always say also to the guys. It's like it's really important to understand and respect step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. You can't jump from 1 to 10 without knowing what is happening in the middle. So I understood that after the years that I'm here. So I will still need to improve a lot on some points. But we are already good base. We are the hotel, which is running really well. So we will continue, and let's see what is the future happening. For sure, at the end of my career, I would love potentially to be, I don't know, wine director for an hotel. Even though that I don't really like much office, but I would love to be more on the floor still, as a face of the people. Wine supplier, I always question myself if I love it, potentially on my after hospitality time, because I think it's a great better balance of life, better to balance also in general. Ambassador, something that I always love it because it's one of the things that I also like a lot, to have a nice suit, a nice, I learned that, my mom loved fashion. I always love fashion. So I always been learning this from the early days that, it's always nice to have a nice jacket, a nice trousers, a nice pair of shoes, maybe a t-shirt or a nice shirt, to be really well presented. That's really, really important for me. So brand ambassador from a champagne maison or maybe a vineyard, that's something that always stayed on my head, but not for now. So still I like a lot of things to improve here. So one day maybe.
Wow. I'm sure that there's lots of exciting stories that are coming up. I would suggest to all of our viewers to go and follow Luca because, as you mentioned, he shares every single day lots of interesting stories on his Instagram. And we are excited to see more about your story. Thank you for doing this. It was a great pleasure. If we can do the wine cellar tour, that would be
of course.
the best ending for this.
Here is the sommelier table.
Okay, yeah.
Because we have the sommelier table. There's some of the boxes that you can see here. We have a collection of Gaia. And then after we're moving from the cellar here. So
wow, it looks amazing.
That's part of the cellar here. So we have this cellar here. We have this cellar here also. Few wines also there, which is mainly Burgundy. We have some Germany. Here we'll be facing all Bordeaux. Some of Burgundies here, and then after we continue, so a bit more on that area here. We finish a bit on that area here. So there's a lot of wines, as you can.
Wow, yeah.
We are
amazing.
Here, we are calling this we are calling the vintage views. So it's where we have all our big bottles. We have Mouton here. We have Latour here. There we have some of the Chateau Yquem also. Which is also very present here. We have some 1921, which is on the top one here. So some really exclusive vintages and wine that we do here. As I was mentioning on the beginning, there is also what we do on the label. Let me show you. I will take the bottle. That's in terms of the idea of release. That's what we do. I don't know if you can see at the back. This is written release for the Connaught Hotel in 2021. So that's most of our Bordeaux. They all have those little etiquettes. Even, for example, Chateau Latour, they all have this little etiquette, which is at the back and writing for the Connaught.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, it's really important, the traceability, as I was mentioning, and this is the best card for us to literally trust with the guest and have that kind of sense of relationship with them and understand where the one is coming from and what is the quality behind.
Yeah, that's very important, especially with such special bottles. We had lots of discussions on the podcast with people about fake wines and problems in this day and age with all this traceability. But this way, it is like that's the best to have the bottles from the chateau. Yeah,
that's great. One of the best, maybe.
Yeah. Well, thank you for showing the cellar. Thank you for doing this. It was a great conversation. Hope to do this. Hope to do this someday in person. And,
I will love to. You tell me when you're in London. More than happy to show you the cellar in real.
That would be amazing. Thank you for doing this. It was nice to meet you and talk to you soon.